Hello stars and fun learners, welcome to Storytime with Aunty Shine-Shine. Welcome to another enjoyable and exciting episode of fun learning. Like I always say, Storytime is fun learning time. And you know how we do this? I say shine, shine, and you go shine like a star. Yes, because you are a star. You are here in our world, to make our world shine just that much brighter. So whatever you do, do it really, really well, and you get to shine like the star that you are.
Storytime with Aunty Shine-Shine, channeling our strength through our stories.
Welcome back to Storytime with Aunty Shine-Shine. Today, our story takes us traveling with our imagination all the way to northern Nigeria. Yay! Isn't that exciting? Yes, Storytime is exciting. At Storytime, we get to use our imaginations to go anywhere, to any part of the world. We get to learn about new cultures, new ways of life, and new ways of doing things. And we are the better for it. So are we ready for today's journey? I can't hear you. Yes! Did you come with your imagination caps? I can't hear you. Yes! So let's go on our journey. The title of today's story is Gizo, the Mischievous and Lazy Spider. Gizo is the name for spider in the Hausa language. He was mischievous. He was lazy. What happened to him? You would want to find out. Come along with your imagination cap. All right, we're ready for today's story. So, in Hausa language, the storyteller would say, Gatanan gatanan ku. And you, the listeners, would say, Tazo mujita. It's just the story called like saying, get ready for today's story, and you say we are all ears. Are you ready to learn that? Sounds pretty simple, huh? Let's go. Gatanan ku. Tazomujita! Yay! Like I always tell you, you're stars. I say that and you catch on. Good. Gatanan ku tazomujita. Once again, the title of the story is Gizo, the Mischievous and Lazy Spider. Once upon a time, a very long time ago. Usually in our stories, I tell us that those very long times ago, the animals used to have human attributes. Yes, many of our stories that happened way, way long ago tell us that animals used to have human attributes. So they could talk, they could walk, they could go to the farm, they could go to the marketplace. Can you just imagine? Can you just imagine that world? Well, that's what we use our imaginations for, to imagine whatever we want and we create wonderful things of wonderful worlds. So, the animals had human attributes, and in those days, some of them were farmers, fishermen, traders, and different occupations. And we had Gizo, Mr. Gizo the spider, along with his wife, Koki. So our spider's name was Gizo, and Mrs. Gizo was named Koki. Now, Gizo was a very, 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 very lazy spider. Every morning, other animals would get up. Any animal that you can think of. I would like to hear your suggestions. What animals are your favorite animals? What animals do you know their names? I'll start by saying lion, tiger, cheetah, giraffe, the cow, the hyena, So add up all the animals that you know and just imagine them, using your imagination. All of these animals I mentioned and more that you are adding on would wake up early in the morning, go to their farms, go hunting, set their traps, go to the markets, go about their daily occupations, all except Mr. Gizo, the lazy spider. He would wake up and stretch his 8 long legs. Yes, just in case you did not know, the spider has 8 legs. So he would stretch his 8 long legs and move out of his bedroom to the front of his house and just sit down there, stretch out his 8 long legs, and lays there all day. As a matter of fact, he had a song he would sing. These 8 legs of mine, they're not for working. I want to keep them dainty. These 8 legs of mine, they're not for working. I want to keep them dainty. I want to keep them delicate. These 8 legs of mine, they're not for working. I want to keep them dainty. I want to keep them dainty. He would sit down. Other animals would pass by on their way to the farm. He would even be waving at them. Mr. Lion, have a good day. Mr. Cheetah, bye. Mr. Giraffe, have a nice day. Oh, you're going to the farm? All right. See you later. Guess what? Anyone who does not work, what happens to the person when it's time to eat? What will he eat? So all the animals would go to their farms, farm different crops, yams, cassava, cocoyam, beans, maize. And of course, when it was harvest time, they would return home with their big harvest, many sacks of corn, many sacks of beans, many tubers of yam. And of course, they would have a lot of food in their house to last them till it will be another farming season. Some would even have extra to sell. All except Mr. Gizo, because he had not worked. He had been lazy when other animals were working. So now, where would he get food to eat? Mr. Gizo's laziness now made him to become very, very mischievous. He would go about and borrow from his friends. Mr. Pig, there is no food in my house today. Can you please borrow me a tuber of yam? Mr. Dog, I don't have any food for my family today. Please, can I borrow some beans? And like that, he became a chronic borrower. This was how Gizo became a chronic debtor, someone who borrows and borrows and borrows. And guess what? He never ever paid back because he refused to work. So he never ever got any means to pay back. So he was owing practically everybody in the village. Anytime the creditors came to ask for whatever they had lent to Gizo, Gizo would disappear. He would go hiding, he would go somewhere. Mischievous, lazy Gizo, he would leave his wife to answer the creditors. And the wife would tell them he has traveled, he has gone here, he has gone there. This was how husband and wife kept on being mischievous. As a matter of fact, there is a song that came out of this behavior. Would you like to hear it? Yes, I'll sing it for you. Let's sing it together. Let's clear our throats. Now, the song goes this way. The creditor would say, Inagi zoyake, kei koki, inagi zoyake. That's to say, Koki, where is Gizo? Koki, where is Gizo? And Koki would say, Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shakaranjia, Baidawoba. That he has traveled. He traveled since about 3 days ago and he is yet to return. He is not back yet. Would you join me and sing the song? Let's go. Inagi zoyake, kai koki inagi zoyake, Baidawoba, Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shakaranjia, Baidawoba, inagi zoyake, kai koki inagi zoyake, Baidawoba, Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shakaranjia, Baidawoba. Mr. Dog would come and ask for his property. Inagi zoyake, kai koki inagi zoyake, Baidawoba. And Koki would say, Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shakaranjia, Baidawoba. Mr. Pig would come. Inagi zoyake, kai koki inagi zoyake, Baidawoba. And Koki would respond, Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shakaranjia, Baidawoba. everybody would come. Mr. Giraffe would come. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki, inagi zoyeke, peida woba. And Koki would respond, Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, peida woba. Everybody would come. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki, inagi zoyeke, peida woba. Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, peida woba. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki, inagi zoyeke, peida woba. Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, peida woba. Everybody, every animal that would come. You just mentioned the names of all the different animals that Gizo the spider could be owing. They would come and ask for their money. Inagi zoyeke, Koki would say, Yai Sophia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, peida woba. That he has traveled and he is not back. This behavior continued until one day, Mr. Gizo went again on his borrowing adventure and he borrowed some money from Kurege the Squirrel. Kurege asked him when he was returning the money borrowed, and they had an agreed sign. Kurege said, "You will return it as agreed, you will return it as agreed," and Gizo promised. And then Gizo promised. And then when it was time to return the money as usual, Mr. Gizo the spider started playing his tricks. And Mr. Kurege would go to Mr. Gizo the spider's house. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki inagi zoyeke, beida woba. As usual, Koki would say, Yai Topia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, beida woba. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki inagi zoyeke, beida woba. Yai Topia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, beida woba. This kept on. Mr. Kurege would come and come and come and come on different days. Mr. Gizo the spider would be nowhere to be found. So Kurege was very, very angry and decided that he must catch Mr. Gizo. So Mr. Kurege the squirrel was determined to collect his money from Gizo, and he also decided that he would teach him a lesson at the same time. So do you know what he did? He went to the king's palace. He narrated all the story. And of course, many other animals had been to the king's palace to report Gizo. So he was notorious for borrowing without returning. So the king sent his guards to go with Mr. Kurege the squirrel to Gizo's house. And on their way, they hatched a plan. What did you hear? I used, there was a vocabulary word there, notorious. Take note of that. Notorious. Let's find out the meaning of that and increase our vocabulary. So, Mr. Kurege the squirrel and the king's guns hatched a plan on their way to Gizo's house. And right before Kurege the squirrel got to Gizo's house, he started singing loud at the top of his voice. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki, inagi zoyeke. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki, inagi zoyeke. He was walking and singing loud at the top of his voice. Of course, Gizo the spider heard Kurege the squirrel's voice singing, and he knew he was coming to his house so quick. He sneaked to the back of his house where there were some shrubs, some plants there, and hid under the plant. And he told his wife, tell him I'm not around. I'm sure he's coming to ask for his money. And Koki, the spider's wife, said, all right. And so Kurege continued singing until he got to Gizo's house, and he said, Inagi zoyeke, kei koki, inagi zoyeke, beida woba. And as usual, Koki replied, Yai Topia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, beida woba. Inagi zoyeke, kei koki, inagi zoyeke, beida woba. Yai Topia, Tunwatan Shekaranjia, beida woba. Mr. Kurege said, oh no, what a pity. He has traveled. Oh, what a pity. You see, Mrs. Koki, the thing is that the king woke up very, very happy today, extremely pleased, and he decided to give a wonderful gift to one of his beloved subjects. You can see me here with the king's guards. The king has sent us to go into the village with this big sack of money. And he says, the very first house that we come to, we should just, where the husband and wife are around, we should just give them the money. But now, unfortunately, you say your husband has traveled. What a time for Mr. Gizo the spider to have traveled. Anyway, I'm sorry. We'll just go over to your neighbor's house with the bag of money. And hopefully, if we meet husband and wife at home, then the good luck, the big bag of money from the king will be theirs. Meanwhile, Gizo under the shrubs was listening, and he could hear the conversation between Koki, his wife, and Kurege the Squirrel. Quick! He jumped out and he started singing, Kariane Gania Rama, Kariane Gania Rama, Kariane Gania Rama, Daram Daram. Huh? Kariane Gania Rama, Kariane Gania Rama, Kariane Gania Rama, Daram Daram. She said, no, it's a lie. I'm right here. I was right there in the shrubs. I'm right here, standing firm. And Kurege the Squirrel saw him and he said, aha, there you are. And they made a signal to the king's guards. And guess what? They pounced on Gizo the spider and they took him right all the way to the king's palace. There the king decreed that he must begin to work hard and pay everybody that he was owing, that he must pay all his debts back. And this was how Gizo the spider got a taste of his own medicine. He was tricked into coming out so that he can pay his debts. There we go. Do not be lazy. Never refuse to return what you borrow. I hope we have learned our lessons. Thank you for listening, stars. Till I come your way in another exciting episode of Storytime with Aunty Shine-Shine. Don't forget, keep shining.
Today's task: find out the meanings of these words and use them in sentences.